Warning, this podcast contains graphic language. What's happening out there in the ministry? What's going on in sales? What's going on MGTOW? What's going on all you men out there? Welcome to KDR Podcast. One of the hottest podcasts in my mind in the whole world. I'm right here in the crazy Pacific Northwest, podcasting it up all across the world. You name it, from New Zealand to UK to South America. All these men listen to the podcast, even though I don't have the time to be doing this shit for free. Well, this is your first time. This is what I do out here in this little podcast that I got here with all this shadow band and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with the intro, for heaven's sake. Let the folks go out there and see what's cracking, lacking, who's in the house, who's not in the house. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. But no further ado, let's start with the intro. Here we go, gentlemen.
Monkey.
Well. Tonight's podcast is going to be very unique. It's going to be very unique and stuff like that. So let's get to the nitty gritty out here, gentlemen. You know, I've been following this particular senator, and I believe from the state of South Carolina. His name is John Kennedy. No relation to the Kennedys at all. But I can recollect last year during October that he was going to a re-election out there in South Carolina. God bless South Carolina, for heaven's sake. And he did this ad out there on YouTube that was hilarious. Now, just bear with me. I live out here on the West Coast with all these lip tards and shit tards and all these tards out here, right? So today they had these hearing out there regarding to these matter of ban books for children and stuff like that. You know. And he was out there on the Senate floor talking about, or he's not really talking about, he's doing a cross interview with this so-called the Secretary of Education, right? The Secretary of Education. So he's doing his crux exam and stuff like that. So I want to play you soundbite here because I found this very fucking hilarious. I sure fucking did. I never saw any senator, any congressman talk the way he did. And I was fucking crying. I was crying of laughter. I was really crying. And this thing went viral. This took place this morning. And I'm just like laughing my ass off, literally. So I'm going to give you the soundbite here in case you haven't seen it, or you can look it up on YouTube and stuff like that. But I found it very hilarious, though. So just give me a brief moment here because I'm dealing with cheap-ass equipment. I'm not a big-time YouTuber and all of that nonsense and shit. You know, I'm just like you, average man who out here doing this grind, trying to, collect the chips and stuff like that, and trying to stay above this fucking inflation that's driving me crazy. I digress. My apologies, gentlemen. My apologies. I should not blow a casket like this, but it is what it is, for heaven's sake. The gas out here is out of control. The taxes. I will get into the nitty gritty of the so-called lip tarts that I live in this state out here in the West Coast. So, let me give you a preview, right? I don't know if you heard about these books out there with children. They're trying to implement children books at the library with very graphic literature. Very graphic literature. It should not be on the shelf of the public library for children or in school for children. If they can have the Bible, why they can have these so-called books, okay? And all these the senator, all he did is he quoted the book. You see, he just quoted the book. That's all he did. 2 books, okay? Only 2 books. Me, myself, I find this whole thing, like I said previously, hilarious. Hilarious. I find it hilarious, but disturbing, but crazy. But what the fuck? Where we live at right here in Clown's World. We ain't living out here in Clown's World, for heaven's sake. So let me play you this soundbite from John Kennedy, Senator of South Carolina. So just bear with me 1 second. I know they want to throw something out here. They always do. I got this set up, and they always throw some commercials and stuff like that. Just bear with me, gentlemen. Just bear with me. I'm dealing with cheap shit out here, for heaven's sake.
I confess.
So this is John Kennedy, and they're out there in a committee doing these committee business and stuff like that. And I want to play you like 2 minutes, and just 2 minutes. Just listen what he had to say and his quote. Okay? So here we go. Let's blast off this motherfucker.
Yes, I'm a little confused, and I appreciate the argument or discussion that we've been having, but for me, it's a little too conceptual, or I don't know, metaphysical or theological or whatever you want to call it. I want to try to understand what you're asking us to do. Let's take 2 books that have been much discussed. The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue, and I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain. Close quote. All Boys Aren't Blue. The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Okay? Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote. Now, Mr. Secretary, what are you asking us to do? Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the 2 books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this.
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're
I had enough of this nonsense. I gotta give credit where credit due. I really do. I gotta give shout out to John Kennedy. I really do. Hold on. Shotgun to the dome. Shotgun to the dome. Shotgun to the dome. There we go. This guy, he went out there and quoted the book. You know, and, listen, you understand that where I live at, right? They got these, especially in the libraries. Where I live at out here next to Seattle, they got these drag queens thingy out there and stuff like that. They do. They really do. They post it and stuff like that. And all these lip tarts, they think it's cool and trendy and stuff like that and shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. To be real, there's a lot of stuff going on. It was a fresh breath of air to see this gentleman quoting these books. Because these type of books do not belong especially with children in the library, especially with the public place and stuff like that. These belong in some kind of porn site or something like that, or adult, or let's say teens. And teens, they in that thing and stuff like that. They want to read frisky shit. Cool. Don't try to implement this shit in elementary school and stuff like that, because it's not cool. It's not cool. And that's what they're trying to do, implement it. And he was interviewing for all departments that which I hate the most is the educational secretary. The educational system needs to be demolished in 10,000 pieces, in my point of view. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of taxpayer. All these taxpayers out there with their property, they're paying for this nonsense and bullshit. You own a home, you or not own a home, or you're like in a mortgage, you have to pay this annual tax in my state to deal with this nonsense and bullshit. Right? It is. See, I'm out here in the dungeons, gentlemen. Now, in my state, they decided to make something very cute, very disgusting, where they can have children, and instead of Washington, have these procedure without parent whereabout. Okay? Seriously. So today, I'm doing my own business, literally. I'm conducting my own business. And I do a lot of things with retail and supermarket and stuff like that. And you seen all these folks out here trying to reverse this stuff with petition. They are petitioning the fuck out of these parental rights. Because in this state, they lost it. So they got the parental rights. They got these other petition with tax. Gas tax. We got that gas tax. Second to California. Capital gain tax. So all these people out here, they're trying to reverse all these leftist, lip-tart maniacs. And they out there and drove. And it's a good thing, but I think to myself, it's a little too late. Just me. Just me. It's a little too late. To me, I say, fuck these motherfuckers. Let it be. Let it be. Between the government, the Marxist feminists, and all this shit has polluted the state out of control. Not this only state. The West Coast and the East Coast. Out of control. Out of control. When you go out there and trying to push this agenda with this alphabet soup, alphabet cereal, and stuff like that to children, well, guess what? People got to say, hey, enough is enough. Thank God that my kids are grown. They're grown folks. So I don't have to worry about this nonsense. But it's real. It's happening out here. And I'm glad that the senator, he took his time to express literally the literature they're trying to push with his children out there in school. You know, folks, you know, gentlemen, it's insanity. It's insanity, but what can I do? Nothing but laugh. I never heard a senator talk about cock, talk about mouth, talk about dildo in my life, in my whole entire life. I never heard a senator talk about these issues like this. Never. Especially on a committee. Never in my fucking life. This is how insanity this fucking country has come. But you know, he's an old country white dude. And he got to tell her how it is. Now, he went viral. He's viral. The whole video is viral. The piece that I played is viral. It's going viral everywhere. How can he say this? How can he? Well, he didn't say it. He quoted. He did not say it. It came from him. He quoted that shit. Don't kill the messenger. He's just a messenger. Quoting these nonsense, filth, degeneracy books they try and push out there and his children, for heaven's sake. It's bad enough they have a bunch of single moms out there trying to raise these young men out here. And you're going to implement some nonsense and bullshit that everything's going to be okay, do this and stuff like that. It's nonsense. It's unbelievable. Sometimes I don't know what the hell I'm living at, man. The only thing I can do is just laugh at this shit. Well, I'm gonna have another discussion here real quick, briefly here. Since we're talking about these alphabet lettering and soup and cereal and stuff like that. Just bear with me because I'm going to put up a quick soundbite here where this so-called herself called lesbian going to divorce the husband, right? And she put her business in TikTok, of all places. The cool place to go is TikTok. Matter of fact, I'm talking about TikTok. It was one of these conservative guys out there. He put Mr. Elite. Mr. Elite made a TikTok video. And he was talking about Trump. He was talking about Trump in Atlanta and how he was locked up. And he was out there. I was like, hey, man, that's Mr. Elite. Good for him. He's out there doing his own business. Big shout out to Mr. Elite out there, for heaven's sake. Yeah, they got a video with Mr. Elite. He talking about Trump. He was locked up. And in Atlanta, the black community, they know how it feels and stuff like that. And he's one of them now and stuff like that and shit like that. All kinds of good stuff. And I was shocked to see Mr. Elite on these he's one of these prominent guys. I forgot the name of the channel he got out there, but shocked. I was shocked, but not really, because they used Mr. Elite to, to get the black vote. That's what it is. It's usury everywhere. That's what it is. But anyway, let me play you the soundbite here real quick, briefly here. Oh my goodness, who's in the house? Let me give a shout out to the house here. Let me see who's in the house. Shotgun to the dome to all you fellas out there. Just bear with me. Let me go back out there. Let me go here. I got a V. The V and question mark. V question mark. What's going on out there? What's going on? Shotgun to the dome. Oh hell, the infamous horn. What's up, Polka? He's out. What's going on, Polka? We got Sydney. Just bear with me, Sydney. Something in his house. I forgot. Papa Smurfs in the house. The Tigers in the house. Shotgun to the dome. Sigma McTells and he's out. What's going on? Sigma McTell and he's out. AP 530 and he's out. What's going on, man? I don't want to keep giving out shout outs because I'll be here all day. Giving shout outs and stuff. In California and New York, they all fucked up. They all fucked. All right, so let me play you this quick soundbite here. And just bear with me, gentlemen. Just bear with me. You know, I lost my voice doing last week. That's why I sound kind of like, you know, my voice is not, it's kind of like deep and stuff like that. Due to the fact that I was out there on a college football game on Eugene, Oregon. And I've been a Ducks fan for quite some time, living out here in the Pacific Northwest. And I went out there, I got some tickets with my friends and stuff like that. We spent the Labor Day weekend out there from Saturday all the way to Monday. And it was a very cool ass experience. The people out there are very friendly, very cool. It's not like out here next to Seattle with a bunch of fucking douchebags and drug addicts and shit like that. It was some kind of fresher air for me to have out there. And I just like scream my ass all the way down to the fourth quarter and stuff like that. So I have really good fun and shit like that. So let me do this thing here. Hopefully it's going to be a quick sound bite. And then I want to give you my commentary regarding to these so-called lesbian getting divorced, coming out to her husband, for heaven's sake. You know, sometimes I used to think these bitches, they just fucking just dumb. No. Let me take this back. My apologies. It's not the bitches. It's these fucking cocks, soft men. Right? And they're dealing with these skanks and they don't have a pimp hand on their ass. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less to see here. Soft man. They soft man. How can you tell me, before I play this soundbite, how can you tell me, right, that your wife all of a sudden is a lesbian? And you're going to be fine that she came out as a lesbian and you're going to be good with it and do the divorce thing? It's great. Okay, you're a lesbian, fuck it. But come on, man. Come on. How in the fuck you a lesbian, you sucking dick and getting your fucking pussy filled and shit like that, and all that something or whatever, you have these intuition and shit. At least the bitch could say, I'm bisexual. I like women and men, but I prefer women. No, she's a lesbian all of a sudden. It's unbelievable. It's insanity everywhere you look at, man. I don't make this shit up. I wish I could. I wish I could make this shit up. I can't. You know what I mean? I cannot. Let me play you soundbite here. Just bear with me. Maybe some commercial will pop off and stuff. And all this shit. Let's give me. Okay, so. I want to play a soundbite out here. And this is by We Change. We Change. If you guys don't know his channels, We Are Change. He's out there on YouTube and he's doing his own thing. He got cool channels, stuff like that. And he put this on TikTok. Because nowadays everybody's on TikTok shit. Me, myself, I'm not on fucking TikTok. I don't trust the Chinese. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust these fucking channels. I don't trust you, Google. I don't trust shit. But, hey. Some way, somehow, we got to have these on First Amendment, right? whatever it is nowadays, because you can't say shit anymore. So let me play you this small clip here. Check out this fucking bitch. You know what? I don't want to get too much about these fucking skanks. But these skanks are way out of control. They are. And I talked about these throughout the videos and stuff like that. They are way out of control, these fucking whores. Especially these pale skin skanks. I see them here all the time. Yeah, the snow, the bunnies. All these bunnies out here. Trust me, man. I live in a state, there's a lot of bunnies, white bunnies out here. And these fucking bitches are out of control. They are. They don't give a fuck. I want to smoke a bowl for heaven's sake. No cough. Here we go one more time. Let me flip these boys. Is the bong plugged up? It sure is. My apologies, gentlemen. This is our live stream here. I'm just like scraping the little weed. There we go. There we go. Okay, soundbite. Soundbite time. So this is a so-called chick come out on TikTok, embarrass the husband, and she's talking about she's a lesbian. All right? This don't make any fucking sense.
Early this year, I came out as gay to my husband, soon to be ex, and he had the sweetest and most amazing reaction, and this is what he said. What did you say?
I said that I was so proud of you, and that was the bravest thing I've seen anyone do.
And now we are going our own separate ways, and we're about to put this house on the market, and that's all she wrote. Be like my ex-husband. Be that good of a person.
Yike! Unbelievable. Can you believe this nonsense? What they say gay? Gay means happy. I don't know what kind of shtick they trying to do. The guy sound like he's a simp and stuff like that. You know, you can take everything on the internet seriously because you can have two idiots doing some nonsense and bullshit and thought about, yeah, gay and this and that, getting divorced, but she looks like a very emotional person and stuff like that, and be the right person, and this bullshit and nonsense that's been going on for the last I don't know, fucking since to be honest, the nonsense and bullshit started when Donald Trump got elected. And all these people went bananas and crazy. And the zoo is right open. It's right open, man. The zookeepers are gone. Out. And the animals are here running on Earth. Especially with social media and stuff. So you can't believe a lot of this. So I say, let's take this for a grain of salt, for heaven's sake, right? Let's take this as a grain of salt. I don't know what kind of man gonna go out there and on TikTok when his wife is getting divorced and so claim that she's gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever gender. Because now there's all kinds of fucking gender. There's all kinds of gender. It's confusing to folks. Not to me. I know basic stuff. Male, female. That's it. And if you like women, lesbian. You like men, gay. If you like both, bisexual. That's it. It's not all these non-binary, non-this stuff, none of this shit, none of that stuff. And no. It's too much bullshit. Simple. This stuff been going on for thousands of years. It's not new. It's not new. What they call homosexual. Definition. Homosexual. You like the same sex. Bisexual. You like both of the sex. That's it. Men and women. That's it. Too much gender shit. I don't even know how many gender there is anymore. And I don't try to keep up with it. Because reality, I don't give a shit. You want to be a gender lion? Go ahead. I'm a libertarian, by the way. Be a gender lion. I don't give a fuck. You want to be a gender root? Be a gender root. You want to be a gender robot? Go ahead. Go boop, 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 beep, 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 beep. Not functioning, not functioning. I don't give a fuck. Gender, whatever. Be it. But don't try to bring your bullshit on my life. Don't try to bring the bullshit in other people's life. Especially dealing with kids. Don't try to do that. Don't fuck with all the people's kids and your ideology. That's it. I'm telling you, man. This country is fed up with the nonsense and bullshit. And to me, you know, this soundbite doesn't make any fucking sense. It really doesn't. They put it out there on TikTok, just click baiting and stuff like that, you know? Who knows what the fuck? Oh, by the way, there was this video went viral on TikTok about this chick. She's 29. Now, see, MGTOW, we always write about this bullshit because we know about this stuff. So she's 29 years old on TikTok, TikToking it up. And then, you know, the conservatives, they're trying to point this shit out, like within the last few years. We've been pointing this shit out for years. What is the timetable for a chick? What? 30. 30, they hit the wall. So 29. And she's out there pretending to be happy, pretending that it is. I'm not the way that I'm supposed to be. I don't have no children, but the good thing about not having the children that I can do some kind of fucking breakfast shit with eggs and stuff like that, and I can slip in, sleep all day, and do this and so on and so forth and shit like that. And I say great dandy stuff like that, but you won't have no eggs. No eggs to cook. We know this. This is not new to us. Hitting the wall. 30 for women. Boom! There you go, bitch. It's a hard fucking wall. Didn't you have all your choices since you was like 14 to 30? Guess what? The wall is undefeated, bitches. But they don't grab the concept. They really don't. There's a time limit to everything. There's a time limit to everything. But they're trying to pretend like they can do this and do that and so on and so forth. And then like they look at themselves 29, 30 because they have their choices very early. 13, 14, all the way to 29. Then once it's 29, they be like, oh, I don't have no children. I don't have this. I have a dog. I have a cat. I have a job. But I don't have children. I don't have a man. But I'm happy. They pretend they're happy, but they're not. Because 50% of American women are some kind of antidepressant. So obviously, they're not happy. They're miserable as fuck. And I say, guess what? Fuck them. You want to go out there and do whatever you do and stuff like that at the age of 29, 30, don't cry and shit like that. And say, blaming other people, my daddy or my mama or whatever the fuck it is. 50% of American women are some kind of antidepressant. If you don't believe me, look it up. So obviously, they're not happy. They're not. See, to us in this philosophy, it's not new. It's not really new to us. But sometimes, it's kind of refreshing to see, especially with these videos with TikTok. And the reason I don't do TikTok or I don't have TikTok and stuff like that because I see too many people suffering and misery with their own pain. But they put it on YouTube, right? They take the clips from TikTok and they put it on YouTube. And I saw this chick this summer. And she's fucking crying and bawling. Just graduated from the university. She is $100,000 in debt. She has a bachelor degrees and I don't know what the hell it was. And according to her, the most they could pay her, it was $15 an hour. And she's crying. And she's petrified. And how I'm going to pay this college loan at this wage. And she's out there making her view and stuff like that, right? And I thought to myself, well, guess what, pussycat? She's still young. She's 22. 22. And I'm thinking to myself in my video, because I'm not a hard-hearted motherfucker, but I am. And I'm thinking to myself, well, bitch, you got two choices. You better find yourself a husband ASAP, or your hopes and dreams of being the so-called independent woman is going to be out the window. Because due to the fact that no job experience, but college and shit and stuff like that. That don't work in the real world. So she needs to start walking really fast. And I don't know what kind of man would marry a woman who got $100,000 on debt loan. I will not touch that pussy with another man's dick. But that's another subject to talk about. You know? Truth, man. They come out here, all these chicks that come out there and they in debt. And they're all in debt. And they have this wish, this mind thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to graduate from college and I'm gonna get this job is gonna pay me $20-something an hour, and then I can afford this, and then I can afford that, and then I can have children, and then no. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. It's a sad state that we live at. Sad state, man. It's depressing. It is fucking depressing. If you see things that I see every day, and if I don't even want to record stuff. I really don't. And put in YouTube, I don't. I could, but I don't. I don't want to do that. It's just so depressing, and I don't even know how to describe all this fallacy, all these lies, all this deception, all this stuff that people bought into it. Including myself, I did it, but then once you wake up to reality, once you take that fucking red pill, the real red pill, then you took it, and then you look at the world differently. You don't look the world when you take the red pill, like in the Matrix. Do you want to know the truth, or you want to go back to a slumber? I want to know the truth. And once you discover the truth, whatever the fuck it means in your mind, in my mind, it means that I live in a real world. Meaning with all kinds of disturbances and stuff like that. But once you take that red pill, dude, you look at this thing way differently. Way differently. You do. You really do, man. From everything. From religion to this, to that, to this, from economics, this, that. You look at the world whole fucking different. And not only that, as for me, that I can talk for myself, man. Even though I took the red pill, I'm still fucking struggling in this fucking metric. It's a fucking corundum. It's very complex. It sure fucking is, man. But at least I have knowledge. And that's very good for people to have knowledge, to understand what is taking place in your state, in your neighborhood, in your country. To at least have knowledge and have a little bit of understanding what's taking place. You got a lot of these folks out here that don't have no fucking iota what the hell is going on. Because they think, because they live in this type of life or whatever the fuck their life there is out there, watching TV or doing whatever the fuck they do and going to 9 to 5, and they don't have one iota what's taking place. No iota. No clue. Especially Americans. Other countries, they're more aware what is taking place than Americans. Out here in this fucking country, I say like, literally like 80% of these motherfuckers, they don't know shit about nothing. And they live here. And they live here. They don't even know the branch of government they live. You know? It's insanity. It's craziness. I'm 46 minutes in a podcast. What's going on, American DeVille? How you doing, sir, out there? Oh, heaven's sake. He's out here in the West Coast, too, out there. Shotgun. Let me give you shotgun, too. Shotgun to the dome. Oh, hold on. My speaker went down. Hold on. Just give me like I said previously, this is some cheap ass equipment out here, and I'm working overtime. Literally, I'm working overtime. It's been a long fucking day. What's going on, American DeVille? How you doing, sir? It's been a long time since, we chit chat out here and do these live stream, this mixed out shit and world shit and worldwide stuff and all kinds of bun and good stuff. So just for shits and giggles, just bear with me. I know I'm gonna leave this up. Those fellas who want to listen to it, it'd be cool, whatever, but I'm gonna go back to the senator because I gotta take a little bit of intermission out here. I got to literally take a fucking piss. But I don't want to leave the empty house empty, right? Because we full of people. We full of men out here. So let's see what we got here. Something cannot be violation of the cock tube copyrights and stuff like that. Like, they always strike me. I can't even talk about my mouth. Because every time I open up my mouth, there's a strike. This strike, that strike, this strike, you got this, so nonsense and bullshit. How about the First Amendment? Can I say something about the First Amendment? Can I just be left alone and I can talk all kinds of shit that I want to talk to? And don't ban me, for heaven's sake, and don't promote me. Just put it for adult entertainment. And besides, Rumble is about to be open next month. I've been in Rumble for years, but I'm about to do my own shit out there on Rumble because this stuff sucks out here. It really does. So let me play this here.
And I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain. Close quote. All boys aren't blue. The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Okay? Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote. Now, Mr. Secretary, what are you asking us to do? Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this.
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, and the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's
What
point.
are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
You're getting conceptual again.
I'm not getting conceptual.
Well,
I'm saying
yes,
that
you are. Yes, you are. Because I want to know what you're recommending. It sounds to me like what some of you are saying, the librarians should decide who gets to see that book.
I'm saying when individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a rape scene, should that book be pulled from our libraries? I think it becomes a slippery slope.
I think you ought to think about it a little bit more before you come here.
I've thought about,
if
Senator,
you're going to propose something, you ought to be able, in 30 seconds, to be able to explain what
Senator,
you're asking us to do.
Senator,
Ms. Kelly, what do you understand? Well, let me skip you for a second.
The person out there is transgender. Transgender, so he's an old listen, he's an old cat. He's an old cat. He don't play no fucking games. I would be the same too. I'll fucking listen. He didn't make those words up. That's coming from a book they're trying to publish out there. The book is published, but they're trying to promote it on elementary students and stuff like that, right? And the panel that he's crossing is the Secretary of the Education, and I know they do out there. I'm confused too. I don't know if he's a chick or her or it or whatever the fuck it is nowadays and stuff like that. With all these gender pronouns and nouns and shit like that. I'm confused too. I'm like him. Trust me, I see these motherfuckers all the time out here. What do you want me to call you? Sir, ma'am, it, whatever, Pat, Bree, debris, not Bree. Whatever you want me to call you, I call you, man. I don't give a shit. It's confusing. It's confusing, but not really. It's comical.
Cameron, tell me what you're proposing.
It's pronounced mix.
Mix? Is that how would you like me to refer to you?
Senator, your definition of sexual is synonymous with LGBTQ identity.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you to tell me you read those two excerpts.
Genderqueer.
Do you think that, are you asking that only librarians and not parents have any say in whether minors can read those books? Is that what you're saying?
Genderqueer has never been in my school library, so it's never been banned.
Well, suppose it was. Should it be up just to the librarian, or should parents have a say?
There should be facilitation of collaboration between students.
Should parents have a say?
Parents should be working with students and educators to be making decisions, because students are...
And who decides ultimately? The librarian, or do you take a vote, or who takes the vote?
Book review committees in the community in my school district.
You want a committee to decide?
There are committees.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you, how do we decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available in the library. What would you, if you were running things, what would you do?
All Boys Aren't Blue, the scene you mentioned, is about sexual abuse.
I know what it's about.
It's not
What
erotic.
would you do in terms of making the books available? Would you say anybody can see them, or they have to be in a special session?
Students who do not read books like All Boys Aren't Blue cannot learn what is appropriate.
I understand that.
They cannot learn.
I understand, but none of you want to answer my question. You come here and you say censorship is bad, and of course it's bad. But the obvious response is, okay, you heard the books we're talking about. Okay, we're not talking about Catcher in the Rye. So tell me what you want, who gets to decide. And all I've heard is the librarians. And parents have nothing to do with it. And if that's your response, what planet did you just parachute in from? Or what country, more appropriately? This is not China.
Parents, Senator, with all due respect, parents absolutely have a say. My parents were immigrants, came to this country. We never checked out books without our parents seeing what books we were reading. They encouraged us to read
Mr.
books.
Secretary, I understand this is good for your politics back home.
It's got nothing to do with my politics. My bill is
Of course
passed.
it does.
My
It
bill is
has
passed.
everything to do with your politics.
I'm here to-
But you came here with a problem, and I'm trying to understand the solution, and you don't have one.
We solved the solution.
Other
in
than
Illinois.
to tell us that we don't agree with you, we'll be on the wrong side of history.
We solved the problem in Illinois. We fixed it because we.
Well, there are
passed laws
others
that
you
make-
could work on.
Well, that's why
I'm
I'm
out
here to
of
help.
time.
I'm here to help other states make these decisions.
Especially in Illinois. Chicago's a fucking shit show. There's a lot of problems up there you can solve up. True that. My apologies. I have to do this shit again. Unbelievable. You know, he's a senator out there from South Carolina. Straight shooter. You know, because, you know, if you don't know these folks out here like I do, they always talk double language. They're always trying to confuse the English language and new terminology and new stuff and new bullshit. And they change. The leftists are very good at changing words. Oh, they excellent in that shit. They trying to fuck with your brain and stuff like that. They really do. I got to give credit to the leftists. They know how to do this brilliant. But at the end of the day, bullshit walks. Money talks and bullshit walks. That's what it was. It's nothing but a circus when you look at it. To me, it's a circus. Now, don't get me confused that I watch the Senate committees of all kinds of nonsense and bullshit, because I don't. It just happened to jump in my feed, and I was like, what the fuck is this all about? You know, what this is all about? And then I was like, oh, it's about these banned books and stuff like that. With a lot of homosexual literature in it, and trying to implement it in like the education system. You know, that it had to be part of the curriculum to read. You know, I don't know, Kill Mockingbird or Romeo and Juliet. You know, these different books is part of the curriculum that children, middle schools and high school have to read. I read back in the days in high school. What was it? Yeah. It was mandatory and it was fucking confusing as fuck. Shakespeare. Yeah, Shakespeare is fucking confusing and stuff. But it was one of the things that you had to read, and, you know, and trying to come with your own conclusion and stuff like that. You know. Well, Don Quixote. I have to read that for Spanish and stuff. Don't try to tell me that you want to have a curriculum with nonsense and stuff with sex toys and put this in like a curriculum. It's like, no, dude. Well, I guess you could nowadays. What the fuck? Nowadays you can do anything. They put curriculum and all kinds of nonsense and shit. So who knows? Who cares? Who gives a fuck? But as long as he pointed out, hey, it's gonna be to the people to decide what their children, what kind of book they can read and bring home, and have assignment to the book. That's pretty much it. It is what it is. You got the curriculum, you got a book, you got assignment, you got to write, you got to read, and stuff like that. And then you present it to the teacher, and she can grade you on and stuff like that. Basic shit. Nowadays, can you imagine putting that book? It's bad enough. I don't know, have you ever read the Catch and Ride? And the Catch and Ride was a fucking radical book, and still radical book, because he's a teenager boy, and he grew up in a fucked up situation. He's fed up with life and shit like that, and the whole book is about cursing and stuff like that, and just cursing and shit and stuff like that, like I'm doing here, but not about having penetration and this and stuff like that. He's different. No, there wasn't. In some district, they had the Catch and Ride on the curriculum, but not all districts and not all places, because it's very male-oriented book. And if you haven't read this book, well, guess what? You should read it. If they didn't teach you this in high school, you should read it. The Catch and Ride took place back in the 1950s. I suggest every man should read this book, The Catch and Ride. Excellent book to read. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you out here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope that you had a good time. I'm out here for like an hour or so. Yeah. It's been a pleasure for me. And like I always say, gentlemen, peace. State MGTOW. I definitely catch the next podcast, live stream, or video. Whatever I'm at, I'm out.